we deal with these problems. We're dealing with uncertainty every single day, every single second of the day, and I deal with it. Trust me, I feel how you feel. I the thing is, and what we have wrong is that we're so caught up with all these things that people are telling us. Oh, do this, do that, do this, and you'll be successful, right? The truth is, there's no correct road to success, right? That's for you to figure out what you need to do to be successful, right? And the biggest thing that I've always said, and progress over perfection, right? You have where you're starting out, which you might not be, you're definitely not at the point you want to be, and the point where you want to be at, right? You have these two things, and if your plan is to just like run through it, you're just gonna crash, right? You're just gonna go right through, right? But if you start very slowly and go right through the whole process, you might come down, but you're gonna come up again, right? You're not like when I go to the gym, there's this very, great person. He always tells me, it's whenever I'm trying to push myself way too much, he's like, let me put this out there. It's fine to do that, but when you're constantly doing it, he tells me it's like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? It's the same thing with business success, right? You have to take the time to learn and love the journey instead of just seeing the end result. And the truth is, if you start liking all these little things that you're doing, and if and you can like anything. Like, for example, when I started reading, I hated it. Like, it was something that I didn't like. Then that's the truth. But once I started taking the time to really enjoy it, to really, and obviously that's because also it became a habit, right? If I don't read, it's so weird. Like, it's I just feel out of place, right? So I need to have my reading. And I haven't told you how many times, and same thing with my like when I wake up, right? Sometimes I wake up late. Sometimes I sleep super late, and that's the reason why. And the reason why is I may, and we all procrastinate, and that's the thing. And you have to understand that you're not the only person. The difference is some people address it and some people don't. And depending on how you do it is also very important. Like, you have to understand this is a lifestyle, right? You have to learn from these mistakes. You can't beat yourself about it, or you're not going to come back and do it again, right? And that's the truth. You have to be realistic with everything you do. Like, you can't say, oh, this and this, and then feel like shit and not do it again. Like, you have to. It's a lifestyle, right? When you go, if you're working a 9 to 5, or let's put people that work 9 to 5s, right? They might feel like, they have to go do what they want. They might feel like shit about it, but they show up every time. They might have, a break, whether that's vacation, time off, whatever it may be. They always show up to that day they're supposed to after that vacation. And the reason why I'm giving you that perspective is a lot of time people will tell you, oh, and I feel like this is very false. Like, when people are like, you have to you have to do this 24/7. No, if you do that, trust me, no, let me put it this way. When you're starting out, you can't do that. You're just not going to do it, right? But once you've had that time in, it becomes a habit of you having to do your things. You're going to do them either way, right? You go spend the time that you have to spend, let's say, with your family. Now you know that this has to be done before, or that you're going to have to do it before the end of the day, right? And that's how things add up. But when you're starting out and you're doing things that way, where you're like, okay, I need to do this and only this, you're not going to end up doing it. And that's the truth. You have to build that habit of, like, do the things you're doing right now. And that's, I'm going to be straight out. Like, if you're spending time with your family, spend time with your family, but also give some time to your goals, right? Do those goals, and little by little, you start getting used to it, and you cannot work without doing them. And that's what I'm saying. Start small, and just, don't think you're going to get over here in the next day, right? Now, when it comes to a little more about, like, all those unrealistic things people are telling you, all these gurus, all these people that are telling you things, trust me, they're not doing it with the best intention. They're trying to sell you something. They're trying to, make you feel good about yourself in a way, like, okay, do this and this and this, and you're gonna feel. And the truth is, it might work for you, and the majority it's not. You have to find out for yourself what's gonna work. And people need to stop coming to YouTube for every. I used to be one of these people that would come to YouTube for every single problem that they had. That's what's wrong with today, and that's the truth. We run to YouTube, to Google for every single thing that we have, and the majority of the things that are there are negative and manipulative, right? You have to sit down and use your mind, which most people aren't doing that anymore. You have to sit down and say, okay, why do I feel this way? And how do I tackle that problem? What's the solution, right? And I know it's so much people I've told that, and they're like, why would I do that? Like, if there's an easy problem. And that's what and King Solomon says, like, most people would want to, choose a less resistant path, right? The thing is, to be successful, to be perfect, like perfection is not a thing, but to be successful, right? You have to, even if it's not the whole time, sometimes you do have to choose that path, right? Where you're like, okay, for example, choose one thing that you want to be the best at. And obviously, if you're watching that you're in entrepreneur business, make sure your focus is primarily on that, right? Just that. Doesn't mean you can't do other things, but your energy, 90% of your energy, 80% of your energy should be on that, right? You need to sit down and fight through that, and have thinking time. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Business, entrepreneurship, 80% of it is you sitting, thinking, building systems, processes, getting rid of ones that don't work, replacing them. And that's the truth. Like, and to this point, I haven't found something that works for me yet. Like, and I'm doing it over and over and over again. And I told you guys, this is for, it's really just to show you guys, like, we're at the same point, and I want you guys to see the struggles I go through in my successes as well, which there will be a lot of those on here, I promise. But when it comes to, like, we go through all these, like, little things, right? And I want to kind of show you guys all that. I don't want to just show you, okay, guys, I'm making a video, I got my new Porsche. No, like, you have to show how you got there in the first place, how many obstacles you had to get through to get there, right? And that's kind of why I'm doing this. And I told you guys, like, please, like this, comment, and let me know, like, what you guys want me to make. Like, this is for us. My goal is to build the biggest, most realistic, truthful entrepreneurship community. None of that BS you see all over the internet anymore. Like, I want to make sure when you come on this, you know that you're receiving the truth, and you can implement this stuff completely to your life, and you'll see how it changed them. Now, my biggest thing out of this, and to you watching this, is stop copying everything else people do. Think for yourself. Really sit down and think, what can help me? And how, if you're having struggle productivity, think to yourself and sit down, even if it takes a long time, right? And do this throughout the week. You don't have to do it all at once, right? What can I do to make sure I can sit down and do the work that I have to? And you will see that the solution that you came up with is going to be like gold. It's going to be like nothing that you've seen on the internet. And not because it's the truth is, sometimes these things are so simple, but we oversee them, and we go to extreme things that people are telling us just because they say they work, right? Now, this is pretty much for this, and I know it got a little long, and I'm going to try to make this as interesting as possible. But obviously, I've told you guys, the point of this is for truthful talk, and I feel like if I make too much edits and little things like this, it really takes away from the main point of this, truth, right? I hope you guys have a good one.